just want to share a couple ideas before I start reading some poetry. All that has black sounds has duende, and there is no greater truth. These black sounds are the mystery, the roots fastened in a mire that we all know and all ignore, the fertile silk that gives us the very substance of art. Black sounds, said, never mind. A mysterious power which everyone senses and no philosopher explains. The duende, then, is a power, not a work. It is a struggle, not a thought. In sum, the spirit of the earth. Every artist climbs each step in the tower of their perfection by fighting their duende, not their angel, as has been said, nor their muse. This distinction is fundamental, at the very root of the work. Gave you my eyes, gave you my eyes, gave you my eyes, gave you my feet, my soul, my life. What do you want? Gave you my tongue, gave you my tongue, gave you my tongue, my heart, my veins, my voice, and all that I want, and all that I want. What, oh, what, baby? What, oh, what, baby? Gave you, 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 gave, and if you want, I will give again, and if you want, I will give again, and if you want, I will give again. I want strawberries. I want some more strawberries. Strawberries is good. I want some more strawberries. Strawberries taste good. I'm coming down your valley. Shit, I'm coming down your valley. I will crawl on my knees in the grass. I will finger part the grasses. And then I will take my finger in the hand. And I will touch the berry, the cherry berries, seedy berries, the hairy berries, bloody berries, and then I will make the little seed wheels roll throughout the labyrinthine ruddy ridges on the road of my tongue, flooded by my saliva sea. Ooh, a good tasting berry, which I cherish. Ego told it to do it, but it didn't hear him because he was doing it. Ego told it to do it, but it didn't hear him because he was doing it. Ego told it to do it, but it didn't hear him because he was doing it. I want some more strawberries. I want some more strawberries. Strawberries taste good. 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 I love strawberries. I love strawberries. Take up the blood from the grass, son. Take it up. Take up the blood from the grass, son. Take it up. Take up the blood from the grass, son. Take it up. These people do not thirst for it. Take up the insect children that play in the grass, son. Take them away. These people are sick of them. Take down the long, slender reeds, son. Cut them down. These people cannot make flutes any longer. Now, son, come closer to the earth. Even closer than that. Take away the shape from the metal, son. They are like stone, these people. Now make them lava. Now make them lava. Now make them lava. They are like stone, these people. Now make them lava. Down near the levee where the river once broke through the sand and the dirt. Down where the north fish drown in muddy waters, where mountains become silt heaps. I used to sit and throw out wiggling worm as I dreamed a giant catfish asleep beneath the blood. Asleep beneath the... First there was earth in my mouth. It was there like a running stream. The July fever, sweating the delirium of August. And the green buckling under the sun. The taste of sick dust ran in the currents of saliva, which I heaved up and tried to picture when all the people would curse their own stinking guts and die. No, I am not wishing that everyone should die, nor am I wishing that everyone should be still. Only I am squeezing out the steam in me. Only I am squeezing out the steam in me. There they go. The lips slipping and sliding. There they go. The hips ripping and riding. There. And where does the river end? The red nose of the sun. Sun sucks the sand, blows at the mouth of the sea of time. Men drunk on the falling sky, wet with sweet brine in the sea which never lies. Hail, I hail 3 ships, our bodies breaking the waves. There they go, the dips and rises. Hail, I hail thee, death, and lay 16 bales down in front of the plank. Let me set and bay at the hound dog moon. Lay 16 bales down on the cotton plank. Pray with me, brothers, that the pink boss don't sweat me too soon. Beat my leg in a round nigga peg. Lord have mercy on my black pole. Lord have mercy on my black pole. Lay 16 bales in an even row. Let me sweat and cuss my shrinking back, my roustabout tune. Let me go with the Jesus mule. Lay 16 bales for the warp and the loom. Beat a nigga down, bury his soul. Boss, don't sweat me too soon. Pray with me, brothers, that I hold my cool. Lord have mercy on this long black leg. Let me ride on the Jesus mule. Lay 16 bales of the white fuzz down. Lay 16 tales of how I got around. Lord have mercy on the sweat and stink. Lord have mercy, lay 16 bales. Pray, brothers, beat me down. Lord, let me, Lord, brothers, let me, Lord. Hound dog moon, how, Jesus, how? How, Jesus, how? The swan, silver tone singers pulled the chords of blue and purple like the velvet robe of sounding in their sounding of gutting. Paying no mind to the being and unseen. Mama walkers and owl talkers laying it up close to the night. Poles perching, peeking, seeing all the silver moon lies of the throat. Tongue splitting in the unknown. High and up high, low and below. High and up high, low and below. Between neon dome, silicon smoke suiting. Flew the eagle, the rape dove dripping, baptismal wine. In America, the Grand Canyon is filled with blood. It is the biggest cup in the world, waiting for the biggest cannibal in the world to grow very, very hungry. My head is over there, looking with my eyes over here. My head is over there, looking with my eyes over here. The wind in the crevices of skull brings news from far cities, long leveled on the edge of a distant Egypt, broken in colors near the brain, which sucks my eyes back. And I think I am sleeping now. And I think I am sleeping now. The night is one wing, the day the other, and he balances both on ozone. Use my thought for bone. Use my thought for bone. Use my thought for bone. Thanks, y'all. Of late, I've caved into myself, searching with day-dimmed eyes the musty catacombs of mind, tunneling finally in the bone which leads outside. Of late, I have caved into myself, searching with day-dimmed eyes the musty catacombs of mind, tunneling finally in the bone which leads outside. Of late, I have caved into myself, searching with day-dimmed eyes the musty catacombs of mind, tunneling finally in the bone which leads outside. Of late, I have caved into myself, searching with day-dimmed eyes the musty catacombs of mind, tunneling finally into bone which leads outside. Give me some more of that. Give me some more of that. Give me some more of that. And then he took me up, and I was laying there, he took me down, and he said, like you hear me saying the first, give me some more of that. That's good. He said, that's good. Give me some more of that now. That's good. That's good. Give me some more of that now. For 31 pieces of silver, that's right, baby. For 31 pieces of silver, we live in the modeled age. You take a man's coat before you take his throat. The price is up. We atomize everything, baby. Atomatize 31. Atomize 31. We atomize everything, baby. Atomize 31. The United Hates of America. When the Pilgrim Fathers on the good ship Jesus brought 20 Negars from Africa, they learned to live with themselves by hating their love of God, who was Jesus 3 times. And in my hunger, they failed to ask my name and called me Negro. And united now under one banner, we the 20 million Bible leaf eating cannibals are eager to eat again. And this time we want meat for strength. We have a journey to take in little time. We have ships to name and cruise. We have ships to name and cruise. Nighthawk of time, what messages are those bearing over termite tunnels of brick and metro steel? The tolling of the empire bell signals the mad rush down the corridors of hell. Nighthawk of time, you saw the red man in the belly of the buffalo. Tell me, Nighthawk of day, what do it mean? They will come tomorrow and ask me why the bell clangs instead of tolling, and I will say learning has not been a process with me. Nighthawk of the tolling bells, spiral wings over the street lamp, night of the branch and moth hushing. Tell me if the bituminous rock and painted earth dry beneath your circling vision. I hear the sequoia and the redwood bend. When you bend, come back, then fall. Arrow, the tolling of inner skull ringing, some litany down from eclipse sky. Black, white, tip, lightning wing. I speak with unknown tongues and clefts, screaming Luna in the corridors. 6 legs with wings, inching white up my thigh. Nighthawk of the centuries, African land striking skull where grass blades out, eyes and tongue are meat for beetles. Learning to read the Bill of Rights in the night without the gong of temple, shaking Christ upon the bow and arrow. I speak with beaks split in the scream of dreams, of tolling bells over the ruins of trampled mud huts and wired tents. What see you, bird? What feel you rest on the belly of America? Feather me back past the isle of crows and mice, past the sail of tribe, past the infinite toll of God beating his wings, rising up to dine on us. Kale rocks in the black boat skillet of grease, boiling water. Soon the fork impales the green leaves up, and the mouth bridge opens. And the mouth bridge opens. Could I get this channel turned up? The 404. I was kind of cranking it on my end. I realized that. Thank you. rain, when we needed rain, dust came out in that far lagoon. When we threw nets, fish fled. When I wept in the bed of your shadow, tears drowned me. We are the thin-ribbed people begging bread and fish from the wind. Even the rocks weep salt for us. Children playing like small trees, we hid in the grass. Straight was the shadow beside. Birds like voices finding us, calling the wind to stroke our backs. Bending, we know, the brown tongue of this grass. Sharp words tell, hurry, they will see us. 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 Things fell from the trees after the rain, all that glass money. Somebody's got a lot to pay back. Somebody's got a lot to pay back. Snow like cotton dust, heads in the wind blanketed us. It came as we from a long shape over that hill to settle. A person can die waiting to freeze. Under the wind, a long time coming and coming and coming and coming and coming. When I cry, said the mountain, two streams meet me yonder. Yes, I know, said the sky. And when I laugh, said the mountain, it is the same joy. Two streams? Yes. Which have become my great mirror, said the sky. Come, breathe with me. There are maggots in my corn, I have no command of flies, nor do the maggots cease their chewing. I have no command of flies. I have no command of flies. The pastor came yesterday, a man born of the spirit, he said, sows and reaps. I told him, I had no command of flies. I have no command of flies. The root doctor came today with a dark bottle of dances, shaking his gnarled fist at the sky, leaving me no command of flies. Tomorrow a planter will inspect my corn for the factory which has no command of flies. Gold like buried lances from the sun used to leap up from the rocks when we walked. Where is our king, fossilized in our brains, waiting for a golden crown? African sons flailing at history, digging up our fathers and weeping for the rain. And weeping for the rain. A black shadow limp behind the blonde king, making an invisible rope from shreds of blood. A shadow grows blacker and taller as the sun sets. This ain't no big thing, but it's all we got. With a flip of his whip, the king permits the moon growing out of the darkness. The black man counts the stars, tightens his rope and pulls them down. We shall be riding dragons in those days, black unicorns challenging the eagle. We shall shoot words with hooves that cook clouds, fire eaters from the sun. We shall lay the high white dome to siege, cover screams with holy wings. In those days, we shall be terrible. In those days, we shall be terrible. The word shall descend upon us before we learn to speak, and it shall stop us before we break. All the letters I have written you, an empty hall of echoes swirl where the wind has left them. I am learning the alphabet of the wind is footsteps. I am learning the alphabet of the wind is footsteps. I'm taking pictures over this bridge between us. First picture, iris of August bowing. Second picture, I make a rainbow. Third picture, I can actually see you. Fourth picture, hooped in my wheel. Fifth picture, rolling towards March. Sixth picture, ice snowing the ridge. Seventh picture, I waited for you. Eighth picture, this boy believed. Ninth picture, his shadow would answer. 10th, can I see when I close my eye? 11th, I caught you forgetting me. 12th, negative, between us, a shudder. Yeah. actually begins with cipher. Not knowledge. It actually begins with cipher. It actually begins with cipher. We were piling feathers on a long plane, piling yesterdays, playing yesterdays, playing yesterdays, clouds of falling birds. Let us not revive the sun, dead behind yesterday's nest. What we built in laughter under the wind is captured forever on each feather. Statues do not feel like that. Sun like ultraviolet eels shimmering over your skin. I'm catching my shadow like that. The falling of forms is light making fantasy of my statue ramming, whose skin burns designs forgotten, streaming. Yes, it heals, billowing shadows of brown skin, jamming the world inside out. I lay in the gutter, I like gin. It looked like glass and golden. I lay in the gutter, I like gin. It looked like glass and golden. I lay in the gutter, I like gin. It looked like glass and golden. I hear the silver swan tell Zeus I've caught Pegasus to ride inside. See earth, see above earth, strike, see that breaks. Sailing never stops, waves blue to sever. Shake this sea till sources. Tao was the first priest, and he came unto God, and Tao said, you are wasting your talent. Tao nodded his heavy head, sat down upon the throne of God. God who had drawn the curtain over his vision when he first saw Tao. Watched from the shadows of the garden, a green garden of snakes and streams. Your eyes made the bridge of our existence. A snowflake aching to attack the sun. The rivers of the sun flood. Death is light and shadows of flesh. Darkness is sight upon your space. I am touching cold wings, flying, cold wings, flaking. Death is life, flowers. I am, you are, we were, the now and now, nor have I, nor snow without water. The sun is black. Your sighs made the signs of our insistence. The sun is a Negro. The mother of a son is a Negro. The children of the sun are Negro. Listen, the sun is a Negro. The children of the sun are Negro. The mother of the sun is Negro. We weep that our heroes have died. In our memories, our historians and preachers remind us that we had warriors who fought the boot of the devils, who came in Jesus ships from Europe. We weep that our forefathers kneeled and let the knife take our tongues. We weep that no one weeps for us. What is this? Are we what we are? Listen, we are not what we will be. What is this weeping and screaming? A people cannot create the real hero until they create the real hero. Not by mirrors or masks or muscles, but by men the soil is nourished. And one day we will not weep but sing them up. We will not weep but sing them up. No, this dream was not like a penny shining in the hippos of the mud. Swallow my direction. No, this dream was not like any what all you people doing here. I am the mud slinger on your back. They see this jello seam, walk from high to low. Atavistic images in a spinning coin. Step out, notice seams. Jonah upon a dry land is stumbling, broken neck into my reflections. The hand that lovely womanish, the web capes the skull touches, once prince, so soon I am young again, then points. Old woman, I love you, babe. 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 Joy, purchase two, eat one, give the other one away. Joy, purchase two, one and give the other one away. Joy, purchase two, eat one and give the other one away. Joy, that's joy. That's joy. That's joy. Buy two, eat one, give the other away. That's joy. 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 That's joy.
Giving me such a hard giving me such a hard time. Now how would I giving me such a hard time. Now how would I give giving me such a hard time. 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 Now how would I give white folks an easy time? Giving me such a hard time. Now how would I give white folks an easy time? That black woman.
How did I come to see myself in the mirror? Wearing clothes, I saw the clothes. Wearing worn smiles, I saw the laughter, not tears. Wearing frowns, I felt pain, not suffering. How does a soul begin to know its own image? By turning around and looking at the world? No. By stripping in front of the mirror with your eyes closed. By stripping in front of the mirror with your eyes closed. How does a soul begin to know its own image? By turning around and looking at the world? No. By stripping in front of the mirror with your eyes closed. Each man's string doing his own thing, vibrating at the each to each volume, sounding at the each to each pitch, all being heard at the same time. No one pushing, no one behind, each knowing each's rhythm and sign. Each man a string on the harp, doing its own destiny, with no one pushing, no one behind. The end and the beginning of harmony. Thank you.
Sweet. Thank you guys for coming, and thanks to Rory for an amazing set.
Thank you.
So we're just going to talk a little bit about the process, or why this and why today. It's obviously the anniversary of the MLK assassination, but it's also about a month after that, in the same year, this poet who Roy was reading from, Henry Dumas, he was killed by the NYPD. Very young, and he was an amazing poet and fiction writer and collaborated a lot with jazz musicians, and one of the musicians who inspired this and the title of this event was also a jazz musician and poet named Joseph Jarman, who passed away earlier this year, and he had recorded with Henry Dumas, and there's just all this connectivity between jazz and poetry that was never really archived or paid attention to, and a lot of that is lost on out-of-print records, and we're sort of exploring exile as when your archives are lost, when there is no ruins, when you don't have things to dig in that belong to you, and return as that digging, and how you sort of bring that back into the everyday, which is really what griot tradition was about before the diaspora was taken over by the West and poetry became all about the page. Even if you're a literary writer, I think we all tend to long for ways to bring poetics into the everyday and not have these things so segmented and compartmentalized. And so, you know, hearing that what's in this book that is out of print and you really can't get that easily can just be spoken, and so you can bring that back to life this way is sort of what this series is about. And I don't know, do you want to talk about anything?
That's the shit. That's the best.
Yeah. I found Rory's work, very few people, some people know about Henry Dumas, very few people talk about him or give reverence to him openly. And so every few years, I would Google him because I did this archival project at University of Arizona a couple years, it's like 5 years ago now, and I found some of his work and I was obsessed for a while, and I was like, why hasn't everyone written biographies, and, you know, where's the rest of this story? Because he was just shot by the police in a case of mistaken identity, and then that was it, you know, dead end. And it just seemed shady. And then I found this Sun Ra, I don't know if you guys know the jazz musician Sun Ra, but he did a lecture series at Berkeley in 1971, and in one of the lectures, he talks about Henry Dumas and how he's a poet that everyone should know, and the circumstances surrounding his death. And, you know, clearly there are these like pockets of people who know about him, but for the most part he's disappeared. So when I Googled this time, I think I found Scallops Hotel.
Yeah.
And I couldn't tell because of which I love, like I couldn't tell who was what. I was like, this person seems dope, but who is the actual person behind it? So it took a minute to figure that out. And then once I did, I'm like, he's perfect for this event because he had set a really gorgeous Dumas poem from the Kef series to music already. And I heard echoes of him in your work here and there too, like just constant, you know, appreciation. So yeah, that's what this is. If anyone has any questions, yeah. Yeah.
It's related to what you just said. What was the song that or the poem that you already set to music of Henry Dumas's?
TikToker on
Oh, really?
Plain Speaking.
What? I didn't know that.
And you wouldn't even
TikTokers,
know.
all
Okay,
Henry
cool.
Dumas. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Sweet. Anything else? Yeah.
It's interesting to note there's a lot of like parallels in the air right now.
Yeah.
Like Dumas died at 33.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Thank you for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like Dumas was like a gun-toting poet, and like Sun Ra was really discouraged by that, and really like was like, what are you doing out here? And convinced Henry to hand over his pistol, and that day was the day Henry got killed by police. How strange is that? So when you hear like Sun Ra in that conversation when he's talking about Henry, and he's like, there's no poet in the black or white race like him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's so like reverential in his voice, and it's like, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to overstate his importance,
Yeah.
and not just his poetry, his fiction.
Yeah, his fiction, everything. Yeah.
And the way he carried himself, how he kind of always had that cryptic shadow following him, kind of like some of the events this week where you kind of know someone has this energy that's really powerful and always threatened by the state, you know? And weirdly, also, he worked at a government experimental school, and he had been to the Army, so he wasn't,
He's
you
in the
know.
Air Force.
Yeah. Any last questions? Would you want to read one last poem before we bounce? Or? Oh, yeah. Great.
What was the source of a lot of the instrumentation that you sampled while you were speaking to me?
The source, vinyl. I flipped the vinyl that I listened to and liked for this event. And my homie Bun sent some flips.
And are you inspired by Stone's Throw?
By Stone's Throw? I'm inspired by the tradition that Stone's Throw is a part of, certainly, yeah.
Hi, Thank you so much for that. I was wondering, was that Garcia Lorca, the Duende piece?
Yes.
I just wanted to know how you thought that played into the rest of the piece,
Well,
Duende itself.
I think that Lorca kind of like goes all the way but doesn't make all the connections. It's interesting to me that Lorca doesn't connect black with black.
Yeah.
So I just feel like as a living, breathing poet, perhaps that might be my job. So that's why I wanted to invoke that before I read from Henry, because especially when you read more on that particular essay from Lorca on Duende, and talks about a knowledge of death and an intimacy with this, and like people without a country and certain things like that. You're like, oh, are you talking about black people? So yeah, I thought it tied in pretty obviously to me, though it doesn't seem obvious to Lorca, even though he's using that word in that language.
Hello, thank you so much for that. Not many people I know use the word duende. I use it pretty much every day, and I wonder what duende means to you personally and what it symbolizes to you. Both of you can.
I'll let you go first since you invoked.
You let me go first? Oh, dang.
Let you.
No, I was playing.
By let, I mean.
What does duende mean to me? My first mixtape that I made in like 2 months, about 2 months, in like a, feeling like what Henry says in that one poem, squeezing the steam out of me. Like I felt like I was really gonna lose my mind. I'd lost a very close friend of mine, and I never had experienced death of anybody close to me before, and so it's really kind of taking its toll on me. And it was my first time making art from that place and feeling like that was the only thing I could do to make sense of what I was feeling, and the only place that I felt free to really grapple with all the things I was thinking about. So that to me feels like duende, like when I can't, not to say that I'm not grateful for the solace that is art, but when I can't necessarily be in control of what's influencing that, specifically as it relates to death.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'd never thought about it that way, but I would relate to that. I guess the first art practice I encountered was dance, and it was how I coped with the death of someone close to me, and it was this wave of the unconscious that comes over you where you realize that you don't have to process everything mentally and that you can process in your body. And it's, I guess, how I approach poems and visual language, and I think it's the wave that's driving what makes everything sincere, what lets things come out of a place that's not overly thought out. Yeah, for me.
Thanks, Harmony.
Thank you. Yeah. I think we're good. One day's a good note to close on. Do you want to read anything else, or are you good?
Yeah.
Well, I think he's going to read one more thing, and then be.
There's so many.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
Sorry, I'm all late. I just want to know what the process is like for you, like with your flow and like the way that you reciting these poems. How were you just like making the music and then you read the poem and just like see how it comes out, or like how did you get? It sounded so like fluid and just like, yeah, like it was coming from you. Like I couldn't even tell you were reading poems. Like, so I just want to know how you were doing. Like, what was that process like?
Like I'd say in 2014, I started making instrumentals, producing, and I would need like placeholder flows, and I didn't want to rap gibberish, so I would wind up grabbing like a book of poetry around me and trying to make whatever was in it fit, you know, until I could write something to it. And then I just realized, like, oh, that's kind of handy. Like, I kind of enjoy doing that. So over the years, I've refined it. Sometimes I'll do this at a show, or I'll do it on a mixtape, or like whatever. Like, I don't know. It's something that I realized was kind of, it's like not freestyling, but it's something else. It's an in-between space, because the words are not freestyle, but how to make them fit is. And it's cool how they can take off too, and then inspire freestyle, and like, yeah. I don't know. It's something I stumbled on. Just wanting to not rap gibberish.
Yeah.
Thank you. Cool. I'll read. Decision says the source. Decision says the source links precision. Choose the one to strike and strike hard. The nail becomes desire. The anvil rings fire. Decision, says the source, cleans the inner chambers of the mind. Light enters and reveals confusion. Decision, says the source, has two wings of light, one fusion, the other precision.
Sweet. Thank you.
Hell yeah.